wild broadcast. We're trying to do something every day in June for the 30 Days Wild project, which is essentially a project that is encouraging people every day in June to do something to engage with the natural world around them. And as part of that, I'm trying to do some sort of online content every day. Typically a video here on the YouTube channel, but sometimes other things such as bits of content on Twitter and the like. And what I thought we'd do today is we'd just have a quick look at a couple of the moths I've been rearing on here at Perryville Wood. Collected as caterpillars, and then the caterpillars fed through, turned into pupa, and subsequently turned into adult moths, I've just noticed today. And they have, the technical term is eclosed, which is when a moth comes out of the pupa. It's eclosed or eclosure. So I thought we'd have a look at a couple of them just to see them, and we will do that in just a moment. So I'm going to turn the camera around and we'll just walk through to the hut where I keep the moths I'm rearing. So the things I'm trying to rear on, I do try to keep in an unheated building, protected a bit from predators and such like, and in boxes and so on, but somewhat unheated so that they're as much as possible in the sort of conditions they'd be experiencing in nature, so they will develop at the speed they would otherwise develop anyway, and they will eclose and come out hopefully at a time when others of their species are doing that in the world around us. So if there are things I'm going to let go, they'll be able to find mates and just participate in the ecosystem exactly as if I hadn't been looking after them. And this is where I keep various invertebrates I'm rearing on. We've got a little sign to warn people what's in here. So we'll go and have a look just at these two that have come out first. Briefly say a little bit about them. So the first one we're going to have a look at is in this cage here. It has moved very slightly since when I saw it earlier. Oops. But what I'll do is I'll open the door and hopefully it won't escape whilst I'm doing this. It's always a danger, of course. So you can see down there a little pot label just with a letter on it. You can see the pupil exuvii. That's the pupa it was in. And then hopefully on this label here you can see the moth, the adult moth itself. So this is a lesser yellow underwing. Very common moth, feeds on a wide variety of broadleaf plants and shrubs and herbs and such like as a caterpillar. I found the caterpillar and reared it on, found it earlier in the year, and have been looking after that as it turned into a pupa. Like I said, this is the pupil exuvii, that's the skin of the pupa essentially. And then, well, it was still in its pupa on Thursday when Wednesday when I was last down here, I think it was. But today I noticed it had come out, so I thought we'd have a look at that here. And there it is a bit closer. Hopefully if I turn it over you might be able to see some of the yellow coloration in the hind wings. I don't want it to escape particularly. I'm being a bit cautious about where I put this. Right, that's now quite active. It's flown to the back though, so that's encouraging. You can see a bit of the yellow coloration on the wings showing through there. I'll try and put my hand around. That might encourage the camera to focus on the moth. So you can see the yellow underwings. This is lesser yellow underwing. Pretty common species, well, very common species really. But nevertheless, one that we've reared through. So that was the first one of those that has successfully come out. The other thing which I've noticed has emerged, has eclosed recently, was one I only collected as a caterpillar probably a week or so ago. People might remember a broadcast I did where we looked at some of the moths from a moth trap I'd operated down here in Perryville Wood. And I said there, I found there we had one caterpillar of something called a vapor moth. And that is what this is, which has emerged, which is eclosed. Again, since I was last here on Tuesday, it was still in its pupa. But today, oops, this is quite active, unfortunately. Let me try. Not sure how well this is going to go. There we go. Hopefully you can see that there. I'll work upside down in the container. This is a male of this species, and in this species the female is flightless. She doesn't have wings, and she largely doesn't come very far from the pupa. The females tend to just emerge, attract a male, mate and lay eggs pretty much on the pupa that they came from. The pupa is in a sort of silky spinning. Let me just put the camera back right. So that's where the pupa was, in this case in that fold in a leaf. Often they'd be on the bark of a tree, which it just didn't have. And yeah, hopefully this will allow us to have a slightly better look at it. I can't actually see whether this is in focus because I'm having to look through the container. But that is a male vapor moth. Again, a very common species, associated with broadleaf trees, particularly oaks, but not exclusively. And often the males you see flying quite high around the canopy. Bright orange moth, sorry. Not much it could be confused with, except perhaps a brown hair streak butterfly. In flight, and certainly when you see them close, they're pretty distinctive. So again, that's come out of its pupa sometime between today, Tuesday when I was, Wednesday possibly when I was down here last. I can't actually remember when I was down here last. And today when I came down. So it's another one that's come out. I'm going to take some proper photographs of these a bit later on, so I'll leave them in the containers for now. Then the other thing I'll just briefly have a look at whilst I'm here. Wow. In this container here, these have really grown. These are larvae of a sawfly. So hopefully you can just see the larva crawling around the leaf there. And I'm pretty sure this is Aproceras leucopoda, or the zigzag elm sawfly. A fairly recent colonist to the United Kingdom. And it's not something I've ever seen as a larva before, so I spotted the leaves with the fairly distinctive, let's see if I can find one that hasn't been absolutely trashed. Zigzag shaped consumption patterns. Nope, can't really see a reliable one to show you. Perhaps because I've contained these in a container. But they eat a fairly distinctive pattern into the leaves. So I was pretty sure what that was, and I thought I'll rear a few of them through, see if I can see what the adult looks like, which I've also never seen. So that's my next task, see what they turn into. But what we'll do is we'll just end looking down through here at this vapour